Hi, my name is Alexa Henderson, and today I will be talking to you about artificial insemination in a goat. Yes, this is a picture of a llama and not a goat, but it was the closest thing I had. So, goats are a species that you might not think of first when you think about artificial insemination, but goat breeders have good reasons for wanting to artificially inseminate their animals that are pretty similar to cattle farmers' reasons. Artificial insemination, or AI, involves collection of semen from a buck and transferring of the semen to the reproductive tract of the doe. The semen used can be fresh or frozen. AI of a goat is most common in dairy goat operations. An article from New Mexico State University gives a list of 4 good reasons why a dairy goat producer might want to use AI. Number 1. Using artificial insemination would eliminate or reduce the cost of maintaining bucks. This is the same idea on a beef or dairy operation. Sometimes it is easier to get sperm artificially than to keep males around. A second reason New Mexico State University gives as reason for AI is that AI can increase the rate of genetic improvement. AI makes it possible to breed for the best genetics in your goats rather than unsupervised breeding in goats that wouldn't be ideal genetic matches. A third reason for goat AI is that it increases the number of does to which a buck could be bred. Without AI, a high-quality buck might not try to mate with every female in the herd. AI ensures that as many females as you want can be bred with a specific male, hopefully leading to a viable pregnancy. A fourth good reason for AI is that you can use estrus synchronization. When you use estrus synchronization, AI allows you to breed several does on the same day. This is important because you can make sure and breed the females at a day of your convenience. If the does were not synced in their cycles, you would have to spend a lot of separate days doing AI. This is not considered economically efficient when synchronization is an option. No matter what the reason is for using AI, a farmer must understand the female's reproductive cycle and how to inseminate correctly. Dairy goats are seasonal breeders. This means they commonly breed during late summer to early winter, so that they can give birth 4 months later in the warmth of the spring. The doe's estrus cycle, or season, can last 18 to 21 days. The duration of heat is normally 24 to 36 hours, so it is helpful if all of a producer's does are able to be inseminated at the same time. For this reason, it is necessary to keep records of individual cycles. You can tell if a doe is in heat by a few observations. Number 1. Does are unusually aggressive, noisy, or active. Number 2. Females that are in heat will stand to try to be mounted by herd mates. Number 3. She could have a decreased appetite and milk production. And number 4. A clear mucus discharge is noticeable from her vulva. In order to start inseminating does, you have to have the right equipment. Here's a list of the things you might need. Once you have your supplies, you have to restrain the doe. You can do this with a breeding stand. Then you put the thawed semen in the insemination gun. It might help you to imagine the gun as a water gun with a straw inside. The straw is the transport barrier for the semen, and the gun provides a plunger system to release the semen from the straw. In order to put the insemination gun inside the doe, you have to lift her hindquarters if she will not stand. The speculum must then be lubricated with a non-spermicidal lubricant. The vulva must also be cleaned with a dry paper towel. Slowly insert the lubricated speculum into the vulva at an upward angle. This angle will prevent irritation. Now you have to visually find the cervix. It should be a red-purple color. Center the speculum over the cervical opening. Then insert the gun into the speculum over the opening of the cervix. To work through the cervical rings, use a circular motion and slight pressure. You shouldn't penetrate the cervix more than 1.5 inches with the gun. Then you deposit the semen by slowly pushing the gun forward. Then remove the gun first and then the speculum. In conclusion, AI is a very useful tool as it can improve genetics in a dairy goat herd. It is an easier technique than in cattle, as you don't have to have a hand in the rectum to palpate the cervix. It is not an easy job though. A farmer has to understand estrus cycles, take good notes, understand goat behavior, goat handling, and how to AI properly in order to make AI successful. Thanks for listening to this presentation, and I hope you learned something.